Hello, everyone, and welcome to Connections Resource Center. I am Nat, and I am Connections Communications and Outreach Coordinator. And this week, we are celebrating seniors and senior caregivers and the important role that they play in our community. So this is our first live chat, and today we are welcoming Maude Villeneuve-Legros. Welcome, Maude. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for the invite. It's a pleasure to be with you today.
Now, Maude is a family counselor at the Société Alzheimer Outaouais and has been working for that nonprofit since 2016. She worked as a day center worker, working closely with people afflicted with a major neurocognitive disorder for a year and a half about. But now you're actually working as a family counselor for the past 2 years, and you're supporting caregivers and family members by offering support, accompaniment, and answers to their many questions when faced with major neurocognitive disorders and Alzheimer's disease as well.
Yeah. So we work with all type of dementia, and like you said, nowadays we use the word major neurocognitive disorder, which is quite longer and less harder to say. But yeah, it's the same as dementia.
Right.
And we do work specifically with Alzheimer's afflicted person, but with also all type of dementia.
Okay, because your website actually is says specifically to Alzheimer's, but you actually work with families who are diagnosed with all types of dementia then.
Yes, and also we do work with people who don't have any diagnosis. So if you are in doubt that you have a cognitive disorder, or you know someone who may have like impaired judgments or memory loss, we do work with all kind of families, all needs, and we just adapt to them. But it's not only Alzheimer's; it's our name. We do work with all types of dementia. Yeah.
Now, I was hoping that you could talk a bit about your role as a family counselor, because dementia doesn't stop just because COVID is happening. So how do you help individuals who have dementia and those who care for them to manage through tough times like these?
No, it doesn't stop. And as we saw in the couple past weeks, is that it increased difficulties. It's harder on the person who have the disease. It's harder on the family because they cannot go see them. They cannot go help them and do what they used to do. So all the routine is changed also. But as a family counselor, we offer support. It's the big part of our job. So we listen to the family's needs. We give them tips on how to maybe adapt to this new kind of world with meetings on Facebook and Zoom and FaceTime, which can be quite difficult with someone who doesn't understand the virtual interaction. So we offer them support. We give them resources if they need. So we offer them referency. If we cannot help them, maybe we sure know someone or another organization that they can help them. So we offer references also. We also offer information about what's the disease, what's type of dementia, how to adapt, what to do with someone who have a neurocognitive disorder. So it doesn't stop to have medical appointment diagnosis. So we are here for that also, to help them overall with their role as a caregiver. And their role as a partner, has a children. It doesn't stop because of the diagnosis and the COVID.
Now, before COVID-19, what types of services did you offer families?
We offered a lot of services for caregivers and also the afflicted person, which was like respite overall for in-home respite or day center respite for the afflicted person. They can come over at our offices, or we can send an employee to go at home if they desire it. For some people, they don't like to go outside and do groups activities. So we really adapt to that, and we offered respite to the caregivers, because it's a tough job. We can say that it's a really tough one. It's not paid, so it's made it harder. So we offered those services. They were on hold for a couple of weeks, but we're trying to look forward and what to do to restart those services and how we are going to restart them. And we offered services such as training sessions for caregivers. They can have information and support through the family counselor, but they can also reach out to the training sessions. So it's about, well, now we do it on Zoom, on video conference, but it's about 8 weeks of training. So it's information about the disease, about maybe behavior problems that they can face during the progression of the disease. We also inform about other resources through the CLSC, the CISO, and other organizations. We offer also support group, so in person and also now on Zoom. Also, it's a good formula. People seem to like that we offered. We kept this offer on the table for group support. So it's just a way to reach out with other caregivers who lives the same situation maybe as they are facing, and exchange about how they went through it, or if they have difficulties they're not able to face, maybe someone with another vision they can help also with that. And the last services we have is, I'm sorry, I don't have any traduction. We only
No, it's perfect.
The name is Muscler vos méninges. Will be translated like something like brain your cells, brain your gray cells, something like that. But it's for people who doesn't have Alzheimer's or doesn't have any doubt that they have a cognitive disorder. It's just ways to, we can compare it to, I want to lose weight. I'll go to the gym, I'll eat well. So Muscler vos méninges would be the same, but with cognitive.
With your brain, yeah.
With your brain, yeah.
So exercises for your brain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's great. Well, actually, we have been sharing information about your Alzheimer's information session, and we'll make sure to do that as well for those who are looking for information about that. They're actually coming up soon, so people would have to register ASAP to grab that spot. And as well, the support groups sound really amazing. So it's a really great opportunity for people to, I guess, share stories and share, some of the challenges that they're facing and whatnot. Now, how would someone connect with you guys to not just for more information, but to become part of these different groups and whatnot?
You could just call at the association, at the Alzheimer Society phone number. You can call us, you can email us, reach us by Facebook on private messages. You can reach us on our website. So there's really different ways, and we really adapt to what's easier for the caregivers. So an example, someone, a couple who lives together, and the people who, the afflicted person is like quite suspicious, doesn't want to talk about this disease, but the caregiver needs information, needs support, and doesn't want to go by his back. And so for some people, it's easier to reach us by email instead of talking over the phone when the person's there and talking about his difficulties. So we really adapt, and there's quite a lot of ways to reach us. The easiest one would be by the phone, because you can speak directly with someone, but we do understand that it's not easy for everyone.
Okay, and I'll make sure to provide that information as well, the phone numbers and contact information, again in the video, for people who need to kind of access that information really quickly.
Yeah.
Now, I just want to talk a little bit about dementia. I know that you call it major cognitive disorder, right?
Yeah,
that's what it's called now.
Cognitive disorder.
Okay, right. I guess we're so used to using dementia, and that's what we see all the time in research and publications. Now, my understanding, though, is that Alzheimer's is a form of dementia that causes problems with memory, thinking, and behavior, but that in fact, dementia is a general term or an umbrella term which describes quite a range of symptoms. What other, what other like not just symptoms, but what other neurocognitive diseases would fall under that umbrella?
Well, Alzheimer's is the more common one that we heard about, so that's why maybe we are called Alzheimer's Society, but we, like I said, we do work with all types of dementia, and even if it's called major neurocognitive disorder nowadays by interveners, professionals, and physicians, we often heard dementia. I often still use the word dementia because it's more common. And you lucky Anglophone people, it's less pejorative. So we often use it in English, dementia, but it's French. It's more pejorative. People seems to use that word for craziness, illness. So we don't like that. So that's why we change our vocabulary. But there's a lot of types of dementia. Like I said, Alzheimer's is the more common one, but there's also vascular dementia. So problem with like heart problems, who can cause lack of hair and oxygens in the brain. So it causes brain cells to die, which by the time and progressiveness, it can cause vascular dementia. There's also frontotemporal dementia. So it's more, it's not the same it's the same manifestation, but it's not the same causes in the brain, which are like, I'm not a doctor, but it's just little medical difference. The progressions of those disease may vary from diagnosis to diagnosis, but after all, it's the same needs as the family needs. It's all the same. It's support, listening, and accompaniment. So that's why we help everyone. Every disease is welcome, but
anyone that falls under that umbrella, basically. That umbrella. Yeah.
And now, like I said, people who doesn't fall under that umbrella, but just have worriness about someone, they can reach us and we're going to help them.
Now, I've heard that grieving dementia is as real as grieving a death or a breakup. And you use the term white grief or ambiguous loss. What does that mean?
It means that you have to grieve capacities, you have to grieve the person itself while the person is still alive. So we often hear that, well, my husband's is no longer my husband, is no longer the person I knew, is no longer the person I married. In fact, it's the same person, but since the capacities and the memories no longer there, the souvenirs are all gone. That's why we use white griefs, ambiguous loss. It's because it's even harder than a grief, I think, myself. It's because you have to go through all those stages of griefs while the person is still there, so you can no longer let yourselves completely grieve. And with for the caregivers and also the afflicted person, we talked about those grief because the person who lives those lack of capacities, the loss of autonomy, they have to face those problems, and even if they don't quite see the big portraits,
right?
They live with the lack of autonomy, so they do go by grieving. So yeah, it's quite different than a one who's like, one day the person's there, the other day the person's not there. It's just like
so many
progressively as the disease progresses.
Yeah, so many different challenges, right? To not just caring for that person, but then seeing that person change and lose capacity, lose autonomy, and kind of grieving through that, but still, having to be working in that caregiver's role as well, right? So which is why caregivers are so important in our community.
Yes, they are.
Which is why your organization is just so important as well, especially for your support groups and your respite and whatnot, that provides these caregivers the time to, you know, share their stories and share their griefs and find support among people that are also, you know, facing the same challenges. So that's really, it's great that you guys have come on.
Yeah, and
Now,
I really think it's really important to talk about those grief, but it's not something easy to do. And that's why to reach out to family counselor or a group support, so it really depends on your needs. Some people are not comfortable talking in front of a group, and some others like may want to reach out with the more people possible. But just to talk about it with someone, even if it's not with me or another family counselor, maybe a family member, a friend, it made it easier. It put words on what you're feeling, and it really helps.
For sure, yeah, for sure. And is that something as a family counselor that you do? Do you do a lot of one-on-one support as well?
Well, before the COVID, we used to meet like every family members. We used to meet 3 to 4 families a week for opening files or support. We talked a lot of over the phone or by email, but now it changed. We talked a lot over the phone and by email. I did do a Zoom meeting with a family that need resources and support. So it changed, but it's all the same at the end. My job, and I really like that I can help. I can still help family.
Yeah. Now, as a last question, I was just wondering, it's important to create meaningful activities for individuals who have Alzheimer's or all types of dementia. What types of activities would you suggest individuals try at home, especially now that everyone's kind of isolating?
Well, the first one would be socialization. It's the key. Well, every stimulation activities is better to do than do nothing. Even if you have the disease, even if you're in doubt that you have cognitive disorder or not, it's just always good to improve your brain capacity or maybe just stabilize it if you do have the disease. But socialize, keep active. So do sports, even if it's not 2 hours at the gym every day, just go for 15-minute walks. Do brain activities such as Sudoku. Even if you don't like Sudoku, then don't do it. You have to do something that you like, but just adapt to what's your need, what you can do, and don't see it as big as it's supposed to be. I don't know if that makes any sense. Just keep
do what you enjoy doing.
Yeah, and you have to enjoy what you're doing, because in other ways it's just going to be negative. You're going to go backwards if you don't like what you do. So brain activities, keep active, socialize would be my 3 activity keys. But there's a lot of things you can do, even if at home you can go cooking and just do recipes, follow the recipes. It can be as simple as brushing your hair or your teeth with your wrong hand. So if you're right-handed, go with the left-handed. It's going to work another part of your brain. So it can be just simple as that. And it can be also like learning a 3rd language or a 4th. So it really adapts.
I guess listening to music or playing an instrument would also be a really good one, or art would be a fun one as well.
Yeah, it works both physical and cognitive part of activities, because when you paint, when you listen to music, it reacts in your brain. You keep active, because most of the time I never saw anyone listening to music and be just like still. We dance, we do have fun, we do little movements. So you keep active physically and cognitively.
Awesome. And you enjoy life, right?
Yeah.
Well, Maude, I really want to thank you for joining us. I really appreciate you coming on, answering all of my questions, and helping us really promote the role that caregivers, seniors of caregivers especially, and caregivers in general, play in our community, and the resources that you offer to people who have Alzheimer's, to families, I should say, who have Alzheimer's and overall major neurocognitive disorder. I think that's right, eh?
That's right.
Okay, perfect.
It was a pleasure to talk with you and interact with the watchers. If you have any questions, if you need to talk, feel free to give us a call or reach us in any way it's better for you. And also, it's important that if you take care of someone who have cognitive disorder, it's important that you see yourself as a caregiver. I think it's the first step to reach out to help, to reach out through services. So even if you help your grandmother or your husband a couple of hours a day or a couple of hours a week, you are a caregiver as much as someone who's took care of her husband or his wife, his mother, 24/7. So there's no label on what's a caregiver or not. If you took care of someone, you are a caregiver and you're important to us. So we're going to help you.
Well, that's wonderful. And it's so true that anyone who could be a caregiver, even a neighbor could be a caregiver. Yeah. So it's important that even if it's just like you said, an hour or two a week or an hour or two every 2 weeks, that you're still in that role and you still need to take time for yourself, right? As well, to take that time to, to do things for you, as well as the person that you're caring for.
Yeah, you're going to help yourself. You're going to help the person you're caring for sure.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Maude, thank you so much for joining us. And I guess we'll talk soon again for sure.
Yes, it really was a pleasure.
Have a lovely day. And thanks everyone for joining us. And like I said, I'll be providing all of the information in the video, and you can come back time and time again to watch this again. All right. Have a great day, everyone.